Welcome to Oldham. We are live at the Vestacare Stadium this afternoon for the biggest game of the Betfred League One season. It's Oldham versus Newcastle for the right to be promoted to the Championship, and it just doesn't get a great deal bigger than this. Andrew Henderson, the Warrington Wolves assistant coach himself, who knows what these promotion grand finals are like. Been there with Castleford, won promotion with Castleford, as the teams make their way out of the tunnel to our right hand side. Here come Oldham, led directly past the trophy. And what a moment this is. Here are the two head coaches.
See you again. Thanks for joining us so close to kick off. How are you feeling first and foremost?
Excited. I mean, why wouldn't you be? It's a playoff final, grand final, whatever name you want to call it. But these are the days you want to be involved in. It's going to be a good crowd. There's a lot at stake. So yeah, excited.
What have the last few weeks been like for you since time we saw you lost at home against Newcastle, then you beat them again, and here we are.
Yeah. It's been good. I mean, as I say, this is what you want to be involved in, the knockout games, the finals, and it's brilliant. It's a good occasion today. We're playing a very good Oldham side, and it could go either way. It's who's going to play the best on the day, or get the result.
Is it a 50-50 call, or is there a favourite today?
I think it's 50-50, but obviously they got the home advantage, so maybe slight favourites to them, but we're 1 point difference in the league. We've won one, they've won one. Not a lot in between the teams. I think it's a 50-50 call, and whoever performs on the day will win. But I actually think it's going to be a really good game. I'm expecting both teams to be at their best, and it'll be a right game. I think it'll go down to the wire.
And what would it mean for Newcastle to win today and be promoted to the Betfred Championship?
It'd be massive for the area and the team. Everyone wants to go up a level in the Championship, and it'd be a huge honour, to get there. But we've got an Oldham team in front of us who want the same thing. So again, it's going to be who performs on the day and who comes away with the result.
Would you rather be playing, or are you happy on the sideline?
I think I'd rather be playing, but I mean, it's my body probably says differently. I'd rather be watching on the sideline, but I like where I'm at. It's my body's too old to be playing, and I'm not good enough to be playing either. So it's a different point of view because I can't control anything, but it's still enjoyable. I'm a rugby league fan, so I like watching finals. It's even better that we're involved in it, so I'll watch it as a fan, but I'll also be watching it with, I want to win and I want to go up.
Good luck.
Thank you.
God, this is it. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, yeah. Training's been good all week. Lads are really looking forward to it. Got no injuries, so had a lot of people in training, been able to use a lot of numbers and work on some good stuff. It's been a bit same old really in the last couple of weeks, playing Newcastle and Doncaster and playing them again in the playoffs. So we've tried to keep training interesting, worked on the stuff that we think is right for this game, and the lads are looking forward to it. Personally myself, yeah, it's my last game, so it's hopefully we've got on a high. It's a good day for the club and a good day for me.
And speaking to Simon just now, he said this is a 50-50 call.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would, yeah. I think the last time we played Newcastle, we played extremely well. You could see last week when they played Doncaster, what they're capable of, the quality they've got in the team. all over the field. The size, the energy they've got. You know, the hook is a great lad. Obviously, they're half-backs, wingers. It's just a team full of quality, really. Lads that can finish them anywhere. So it's a tough day for us. We built our season on defence. Newcastle like scoring points. I would imagine that makes it a 50-50, yeah.
You've played in some of the biggest finals during your playing career for Bradford. We're just a few minutes away from kick-off. What will these players be feeling now?
Well, to be fair, this is what we've been speaking about all week, really, is how they mentally handle the situation. These kind of games, I think, are 80% mental. You know, you don't really work on a lot of stuff that you haven't worked on before. Physically, you're the same. Skill-wise, you know, everything's the same. The only issue you can get in these games is your mental ability to handle the situation, and we've looked okay this week. That's the thing that I've been talking about the most and worried about the most, really, and I don't think I needed to. The players are really excited about the chance to play in front of a massive crowd for us on the biggest stage, which is a grand final. And when you win these games, it's something that you never forget. It's something that nobody can ever take away from you. It's something that I remember doing, and it's something that people that I played with 20 years ago, they still talk about, and it's something that my team will still talk about in 20 years if they win today.
I can sense you're ready. I can sense the players are ready. Kick-off just a few minutes away, so we'll let you go and good luck.
Thank you very much.
The two coaches speaking to me a moment ago, and we are now ready to go. It's going to be Oldham to get us underway. George Riley and Andrew Henderson live from the Vestacare Stadium. And here we go. I'll run you through the two sides in just a moment. Not had time to catch breath. Brilliant crowd in bright sunshine as well. And it's Newcastle who have the first feel of the football. Attacking from left to right on this immaculate 4G surface with just a few autumn leaves on this near touchline. Both sides really up for this. You could sense that from speaking to the two head coaches, two former players, both desperate to be out there playing. Newcastle will kick on the last, and it's over to this far side and taken on the full, and it will be Oldham to bring it back to their own 20-metre line. Good afternoon, Andrew Henderson.
Yeah, good afternoon, George. Great to be here. The sun is shining. Obviously, it was tough conditions early this morning. Oh, great shot there from Newcastle Thunder. Sam Luckley. Great shot on deck K there. Bends him backwards.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of ferocity about the opening exchanges here.
Well, of course there's going to be, George. This is playoff. Oh, hang on. I think McAvoy's done his knee. He's just collapsed.
Oh, there could be a very, very early problem here. Oh, yeah. No, he knows.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it.
Last tackle, so let's call this, but his head's in his hands already, and his game might be done in the first minute or so of this one.
It's his ankle, I think.
Taken on the full, but in back play, it is the ankle. And there is a pause in play, so let me run you through the two sides. Oldham, the home side, lining up with Richie Hawkyard at fullback, then Kieran Johnson, Zach McComb, Cam Leeming and Dec Kay. The halves, Paul Crook and Dave Hewitt. Phil Joy, Gareth Owen and Scott Law up front with Danny Bridge, Danny Langtry and Liam Bent. At the bench, Jack Spencer, Matty Wilkinson, Emerson Whittle and Jimmy Beckett. Newcastle arrive here after beating Doncaster and have Lewis Young at fullback wearing one, then Alex Clegg, who received honours, didn't he, at the Championship, the Glitzy Championship Awards last week.
See you again, thanks for joining us so close to kick off. How are you feeling, first
Tyler
and foremost?
Craig and Missy Talapapa, then it's QLT in the house with Nick Newman. It's Liam McAvoy, Keel Carlisle and Sam Luckley. Well, it's Liam McAvoy for the moment anyway. Then Joel Edwards, Reece Clark and Harry Aldous. The bench, Evan Simmons, Jack Aldous, Carl Doyle, Manga and Connor Fitzsimmons. Simon Finnegan, you heard from the head coach of Newcastle, and Scott Naylor, the head coach of Oldham. Two players with Super League experience of themselves, and Newcastle are readying a replacement very, very early on in this game.
Yeah. Carl Doyle, Manga. Coming on now to replace McAvoy, and it's a big loss. You know, Liam McAvoy's an established player in this division and very experienced player for Newcastle Thunder. So it's going to put a little bit of pressure now on their bench or their middle unit boys to do probably a few more minutes than they would have expected. Great shot there, but it's been due to their head-high tackle. So Newcastle will get a relieving penalty out of their own end, George.
Newcastle, a couple of hundred come down on the coach. That ball's coming towards us. Bright sunshine here in Oldham. Endo texted me before and told me to bring an umbrella and Wellington boots.
Well, I just know last time I stood in that trench to the right of us there, George, and had my posh shoes on and they got absolutely soaked. So
and that's why you've gone Farmer Giles today.
That's why I've gone, absolutely. The Farmer Wellies today.
It's the Betfred League One Grand Final. 80 minutes for one place in the Betfred Championship. We're live on Betfred's Facebook and on the Our League app from the Rugby Football League. The climax of what's been a thrilling season. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage, and we've got plenty more to come as Newcastle luckily over halfway and sets it up. Little dab over the top. Oh, a nice little bounce for Newcastle as well, but brilliantly gathered by Oldham. Good option though, good set.
Yeah, it was a neat little kick over, but well collected there by McComb, the centre. And that's the thing with this 4G surface, the bounce of the ball, very unpredictable, so you cannot give up on any kick at all because the ball could bounce back into your favour, away from you, into you. You know, so you just got to keep competing on every play. And great offload there from Hawkyard to Kieran Johnson. Yep. Johnson evading a couple of tackles now. And
Oldham will set up now on halfway. Lively start from both sides here in Oldham. Oldham finished second only to
great carry, Danny Bridge!
And they've started with a bit of fizz here. Last tackle though. So they're going to go high in the air. It's an easy enough take. What's the chase like? Well, they're there in number.
Great defence, Oldham, just driving back young Lewis Young, and that was the sort of kicking strategy they adopted a couple of weeks ago, George. Getting Hewitt just a cage kick into this left-hand corner. Great kick chase, and it's one of their strengths, I think, for Oldham. Their kick chase is excellent, and then they really bar up front load energy first three plays, as we're seeing here now. Newcastle making it really difficult to get out of their own backfield.
So, just that injury to the Newcastle. Oh no! Well,
that's the bounce of the ball.
That's the bounce of the ball and a bit of wind as well, I think, because he got himself in position and he ended up diving forward like a fielder on the boundary trying to take a catch.
Yeah.
First big error of this grand final.
Yeah, it was unfortunate there for Kieran Johnson there. A kick from dummy half from Gil Carlisle, and Johnson was in great position for it, but the wicked bounce there just come away from him. The wind took it and he just unfortunately couldn't collect that ball in. So a bit of early pressure now for Oldham on their goal line. Generally, I think their defence has been pretty solid in recent weeks. So
that was the injury, by the way, the very, very early injury
to Liam McAvoy.
To McAvoy, and that's a very early change. He knew straight away that his game was over, but Newcastle have possession. First opportunity of this Betfred League One Grand Final, and it's the Thunder. Little skip away to the left-hand side and a floated ball from Tommy Harb. All the options are right, and that's where we go. Just dollied up by QLT. They'll set it right in front of those posts. The Oldham fans behind it trying to keep them at bay. QLT with a bullet pass over to the far side.
Good defence so far from Oldham on their goal line.
Yeah, there was no way through from Kieran Gill. This is the last, by the way. They're going to run it power play, skinny side. Oldham saw that coming. The ball's come free and it gobbled up by Oldham.
Great work here. Who was that who dived on that? Oh, hang on. Knock on.
Well, the referee was happy to say play on there. I think he must have got a word from his assistant on the far side because he was letting it go.
Yeah, I couldn't see it from here, George, to be honest with you. But we'll have a look at the Betfred replay. This last tackle play, they tried the power play down the short side. Here, ball goes to Joel Edwards. He hit and spun. He gets a late offload away, and I just thought he dived on it, but I think just in the act of dive, got just a little knock on.
I think it might come off his elbow, and then he just gathered it in his midriff on the floor, but it must have gone to ground off the forearm or elbow. So big chance this for Newcastle to set something up. Nick Newman is the scrum half. Now the fullback joining in, Lewis Young, keeping it alive once again. This is good. That's the sub, Kandor Mangaron. QLT.
Oh, good shot from Langtree there.
Yeah, read that well.
Yeah, he read that play, the drop-off play from QLT to Edwards, and Langtree just lined him up.
Danger still there, though. Harry Aldous right in front of the sticks. Keal Carlisle is the dummy half. Looking for his scrum half, and again it's Lewis Young joining the line, and a great ball out the back.
Oh,
has he got in the corner? Have the Thunder scored the first try of this grand final? They think they have, and Talapapa is claiming it.
Yeah, great try there from Newcastle Thunder. Disappointing from the Oldham point of view. I thought defensively they had the right numbers. I thought Hawkyard got his middles around the corner, so they had the numbers to defend this. And it was Lewis Young that creates it. He sees the space, and it was Dave Hewitt that jumped the line. And Hewitt, he just had to be working a little bit better with his inside man. He gets ahead of the line. You'll see it here now. Hewitt defending it two-man, gets ahead of the line, and that creates a space then for Young to get in behind. And then obviously it puts Kieran Johnson in two minds. He's then got to cover the centre as well as the wingman for Newcastle. And it was a great pass selection from Lewis Young, who does the face pass across the centre to find Talapapa, who finishes in the corner. But again, for me, I thought the numbers from Oldham were right. They had that there covered. It was just Dave Hewitt jumps out of the system, and that created the opportunity because it was man on man there. If he holds his nerve, they'd probably handle that. It's man on man, but he jumps ahead of the line. That creates a space for Lewis Young to get in behind and create the opportunity. A good pass selection and decision from him to find Talapapa, who finished well.
And here comes the extra two. How is that? Oh, right off the upright from Reece Clark.
Yeah. Big Reece Clark, unlucky.
Let's have another look at the first try of the game. It just opened up. Newman to Young, and then it was that ball. And Talapapa just stayed in play.
Scott Naylor just barking some instructions there to his team.
Yeah, Dennis Betts doing the same alongside Simon Finnegan on this near side for Newcastle. Interesting feature of this fixture, Hendo. Certainly this pitch. I was down on the pitch beforehand, and in the in-goal area, they've actually had to bring it in a metre because of the concrete wall for safety reasons.
Yeah.
But the try line, the goal line is the same, so it's actually a very narrow in-goal.
Knock on there from Dormenga.
And the first error made by the visitors.
Hands in, he's not happy. It's a great opportunity for Oldham, and that's not what you need from a Newcastle point of view. You've just scored points. It's so important, I say it time and time again, that you're ruthless after scoring points. You've got to get through that set, get your kick away, kick chase, and just keep that momentum and that grind going. The fact that you come up with an error, it's a cardinal sin. It's a coach killer, it really is. Error after scoring points, because it now just gives some energy to the opposition and opportunity to them.
Yeah, the first set after a score so important. And Oldham have an immediate chance to hit back. Their first really good feel of the football as they set up right in front of those posts. And already it's looking dangerous. That was big Danny Bridge towards the line. Hawkyard is an acting halfback. Back to Hewitt. Again, they just straighten up and set up once more. It's Owen this time, fancying a scamper on his own. So far so good from the Thunder. This will be the last. Will they look for a repeat set? Hewitt looking for the corner. It's gone forward off the Oldham hands.
The 7-tackle set. Newcastle want to get on with it quickly.
Yeah, not a good finish that from the home side.
Well, his kicking game is going to be important today, David Hewitt. Oh, another error made. Force the error. Great defence. Phil Joy punches the air, along with Scott Law, the veteran front rower. happy with that. But I was just going to say, I made the point, George, that the kicking game from Hewitt's going to be critical today from an Oldham point of view. They're not a team that asks a lot of questions of you with the ball. They're quite methodical about how they go their process. They keep things quite tight. You know, they like to sort of just power their way down, play completions, play field position. They back their kick chase, but their kicking game is a huge weapon for them if it's on song.
So another opportunity for Oldham. It's Cameron Leeming. He attracted a lot of interest when he came through the academy in Super League.
Good tackle. Kandor Manga.
It's been a really hungry start from Newcastle. They've got a 4-0 lead, but they're defending their line. Here come Oldham. Liam Bent onto his backside. Another huge shot, but he bounces out of it well and darts towards the line, skipping away again. Richie Hawkyard keeping the ball alive. This is good from Oldham, edging themselves closer. A little dab kick through, that could come back off the upright. It has.
Try!
Is it a try or is it a knock on? There were hands, there were legs, there were knees in there. It's a big decision from the referee. And the try is awarded.
It is indeed, and it's come off that boot of Dave Hewitt. I spoke about the kicking game. He said they're not a team that's going to ask a lot of questions. They keep things quite simple, do Oldham.
Well, it was pinball underneath the sticks.
It wasn't last play, it was an early kick, play 4. Hewitt, he takes it to the line, seizes an opportunity. A little bit fortuitous, the ball ricochets off the post, but it was a bit of a scramble, and I think it's Danny Langtree there who claims it. We'll see it again on the Betfred replay. Hewitt goes to the line, he looked to play short, but then decided to put the kick in, and it just obviously Lewis Young, it hit it ricocheting off the upright, just confused him, bamboozled him. He couldn't then get to the ball. He was in a decent position, and then Langtree just pounces and levels the score, 4 points apiece.
So back-to-back errors from Newcastle after that score, and Oldham find themselves in front.
Well, you've got to give credit to Oldham there. They've really front-loaded defensively. They've forced a couple of errors out of Newcastle. That's given them the field position and opportunity. And at the end of the day, you can always score off a kick, I say so, and that's what's happened there.
Here's another look at it. Perfectly judged, off the upright, off the fullback, off an ankle or a knee, and then grounded, and it's Oldham who lead. The wind picking up as well, that could be a factor, swirling out there.
It is swirling, isn't it? It's all over. Hawkyard out of dummy half now. He's always very industrious around the middle. George, he likes to get involved, likes to do plenty of scoots and carries to help the big fellas.
Got a spring in their step, Oldham. The higher of these two ranked sides in the regular season, both coaches speaking to me beforehand said this was 50-50 today.
Oh, well, if you look at the two games that were played in the season against each team, I think it was a 28-20 result and a 28-22 result. They were both very, very close fixtures. Oh, great catch. Great take over there on the far side by Alex Clegg.
So 16 and a half frenetic minutes of this Betfred League One Grand Final.
Penalty.
One try apiece, Oldham leading by the narrowest of margins, but they've given Newcastle a piggyback up the pitch here. And you would say, after the last few minutes, they would need that, because they've been a little bit erratic since their own try.
Liam Bent there, former Salford man, just coming up, just holding on the legs too long for Talapapa. He needed to release.
Have you got him?
I mentioned, Hendo, that you know exactly what these games are like. I'll ask you a little bit more about that in a moment. I remember a few years ago, must have been over 10 years ago now, when I came and watched you at Headingley in that Castleford Grand Final.
Yeah.
When you won promotion, when would that have been? 08, 07?
07 it was.
07.
07 it was, yes.
Blimey, time flies. 12 years ago, I was coming to watch you play rugby. Good grief. I did have nothing better to do. Last tackle. Newcastle, will they get a repeat set? They're just going to drill into touch here. Not a bad option, actually, after the last few minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Not a bad outcome that for Newcastle. They've had to absorb some pressure on the low line. They've conceded a try. They've managed to get up the other end of the field there now. Put it into touch. Just take the tempo of the game out a little bit. Regroup, refocus. Get their defensive line set now. But it's going to be a big defensive set for them. They need a really front load here and try and contain this Oldham pack going forward, because the last couple of sets, Oldham, they go forward. They're just starting to get their noses through, getting players in between bodies, and that's a great shot off the scrum. Good tackle there. Joel Edwards gets underneath.
Oldham in possession. They have the slenderest of leads through that converted Danny Langtree try, responding to the try in this near corner from Tuala Papa for the Thunder.
Strong carry there from Phil Joy.
I think they're going to kick early here. Yes, they are. They're looking 40-20, but that's not going to go anywhere near touch. Oh, it might skip away though.
It's going to roll, I think.
It's going to roll and roll and roll.
Yeah, they've got a wind behind them, haven't they? That swirl
Really strong, deceptive wind. Live on Our League from the Rugby Football League and via Betfred, streaming on Facebook today. And we're live on Twitch if that's your chosen means of consuming your live action. It's Newcastle on halfway, a scamper away from dummy half from Lewis Young, who set up that try for the Thunder, for Missy Taulapapa. Luckily seeing a lot of the ball. Another carry, big impact though. Lewis Young's lost a boot, so he just trots back into backfield. Doyle Manga into the line. This is the last though, so QLT just springs over and says I'll have it, but no, they're going to run it. I'm not sure that's a good option. Could end up being though, little rubber kick through, and a similar result to their last set.
I don't mind that play. When you've got a back row like Reece Clark, that he's got the skill set. Well, he's got the skill set. He can kick the football. He's got a pass in him as well. Sometimes it's nice just to be able to use that option on the edges. Just keeps that defensive line guessing a little bit.
Leeming. Great power in those legs. Oh, and he just bounces off tackles, doesn't he?
He's effective, his Hawkyard. He was brilliant a couple of weeks ago when we covered on the Our League game against Doncaster.
He's hungry for the ball. He wants to be dummy half every possession. Pushed out of the way this time. Down the middle they go. Last tackle. So what this time? It's going to be high, I think. Yes, it is. From the left boot of David Hewitt. Someone's fallen in back play. Great take. Really well diffused by Newcastle.
It's a good end to set there again for Oldham. Just finish it in that left corner.
A reminder, player of the match via Our League today. It's going to be your choice, a fan's vote via the app. So we'll have 4 candidates for that towards the end of the game. So if you're watching on Betfred's Facebook or via Twitch, maybe get the app loaded as well so you can play your part in who the man of the match is from this grand final. Newcastle kick, oh, it's going to be straight down the throat of Hawkyard. You don't want to let him get ahead of steam up. It's quick enough anyway.
He was met by a purple wall there, wasn't he? And
he runs like a...
He's brave.
He runs like a forward.
Yeah, he runs
like
hard.
Adrian Morley.
He runs hard. There's not much of him, but he runs hard. He's definitely a player that always gives 100%. There's no doubt about that. Wilkinson in a dummy half now. He'll create a bit more spark around the ruck now for Oldham. He's quite
looking to win inside a penalty there. The referee wasn't interested, but it has allowed a very quick couple of plays here. Again, they go in the air. It's a very flat one. It is taken by the try scorer, Tuala Papa. Oh, it's tight, isn't it, this? Oh, and a knock on. Well, that's the third handling error in their own third of the pitch from Newcastle.
And that's the epitome of Oldham. That's how they play. Like I said before, you know, they're very methodical. You know, they don't turn over the ball too often. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They do a lot of dummy half running with their back five, middle unit boys down the middle third, and are just content to kick to a corner and kick chase. You know, and that's the kind of blueprint for them, and certainly has been effective in this playoff series for them. You know, that's the nature. They do the little things well, and then they just wait for that, force an error or somebody make an error just to get that field position. And it's just important now for Oldham that they continue to build pressure and sustain this pressure on the Newcastle line.
Thoughts of Andrew Henderson, Warrington Wolves assistant coach, promoted with Castleford from the Betfred Championship, former Castleford captain, former Scotland captain. Don't be fooled by the accent. Here come the home side. Can Oldham strengthen their position in this game?
Well, they're short on this right side. Oh, he should have gone to the right.
There's still a chance though. Down the middle they go. They're going to set up once more. Couple in hand here. Wilkinson waits. And then he fizzes the pass on this near side. Can they? Well, Newcastle have got numbers. They're going to hold him on his back, I think. Yes, they are.
Yeah, held up. I just think, George, they missed an opportunity down that short side on the right side there. Crook was out the back of his centre, McCabe, and Newcastle only had Kieran Gill and Tyler Craig on that side.
Suddenly they're here on the last, so it's going to have to be another kick from David Hewitt, that trusty left boot, over to the far side this time. What a take that is.
Great catch here, Alex Clegg.
They've looked good under the high ball. Clegg has had a dream of a season. Good to see him enjoying his recognition as well. The start of last week at the Betfred League One and Championship Awards do. At the Hilton in central Manchester. I won't ask you, Hendo, how much you paid for parking.
Oh,
you weren't happy, were you?
Don't get me started.
You were not happy. I think someone saw you coming.
No, anyway, here's what it is.
I got the tram in, mate. £2.40. Here come Newcastle up this near side. Trying to pepper the try scorer. It's the last though. Looking to dissect winger and fullback, doesn't work. Taken on the full by Richie Hawkyard, and here he goes. Good chase though.
Certainly returns with purpose, doesn't he, Hawkyard?
Double change, by the way, meanwhile, from Oldham on this near side. It's a really, really good contest, this. Few errors both sides, one try apiece. The only difference, that missed conversion from this near touchline.
Good late feet there from Spencer.
Wilkinson getting the plays moving really swiftly indeed. Emerson Whittle on the field. First carry. Last tackle though, Oldham. So what will they do this time? It's going to be Paul Crook to kick. That's going to come down with Oldham snow on it. It's taken though. Can they get another kick in? No. They want another set. I'm not sure they're going to get one. It's still the last. He needs to get the kick away here. He's going to get caught with the ball in his hand, is David Hewitt.
I just think at the moment Oldham they're playing very direct. They just seem to be generating a little bit more ruck speed, rolling down the hill a little bit more easier than Newcastle, albeit I think Newcastle are running into a bit of a wind here, to be fair. But I've got to admit that I think the Oldham's tackle management is a lot better. At the moment they're getting 2-3 in most tackles, controlling the ruck speed here. As you see again, 3 in the tackle there.
Right on halfway. You'll see that the football markings still more prominent than the rugby markings, and actually being on the goal line, that's quite confusing. That's quite narrow, that's caught in the wind. Where is that going to go? It's going to bounce, it comes off a Newcastle backside and it's back in Oldham hands. I say it's confusing, Hendo,
yes,
because the edge of the football 6-yard box, it's about 6 inches in front of the try line, and it's a more striking marking. So if you're going over it from dummy half or taking a short pass, you're seeing the bright white line.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That's actually six inches or so shorter than the line.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It was actually Dennis Betts, who I was speaking to on the pitch, pointed that out. I said this is going to catch a few people out.
Well, I believe though, if Oldham win today, I don't think this stadium will meet the criteria for the Betfred Championship, so they will be having to find a new home.
Last tackle, Oldham. Here he is, left boot again, yes. Everyone shouting for offside, and Newcastle are just diffusing everything. So good under the high ball, Lewis Young. It's tight, isn't it? So much at stake. What are these matches like to play? And I mentioned the promotion you won with Castleford. When an entire season is defined in, well, what, 50 minutes now? I mean, is it one of those, once you get playing, you actually forget about the fact what's at stake? It's just a game.
Good hits on this left side from Newcastle.
Come back to that, because here comes
legs away.
Thunder. Now Clegg was...
A nice ball movement there from Thunder. Shifted the point of attack from right to left.
Stopped his QLT. They'll just straighten up and use the field position here. Last tackle. Options left and right. QLT skips away from one and away from two. They're going to run it again. He's going to have to get the kick in here. QLT, no, they're going to run it. It's going to be the big fella just to drill one into touch. He's like, I don't want this. Let's just hammer it into touch. And they'll set up. Well, that's been a set play from them. Play for position.
Yep.
Start on the 20. I'll go back to that point. Once the first whistle goes, do you forget about what's at stake, or is that always on your mind?
Yeah, you do. You just go and play your game. You've prepared, however the way you've prepared to play, and your focus is on just doing your job. And hopefully, if you do your job, then you get the outcome that you desire and the result that you need. And that's the reality. And I think at the moment we've got something's been put on report there. An Oldham player's been put on report, I believe. Not sure what the action is for, but there will be scrum head and feed to Oldham. But I tell you, it's been a really good contest so far, hasn't it? It's been a good final.
It's been tight, hasn't it?
It's been a real good contest. You know, both teams have just been content with just going through, completing their sets, getting to a kick. It's been a real arm wrestle, hasn't it? I mean, probably say Oldham have enjoyed slightly the better of the field position.
This is the on-report incident, I believe, Hendo. If you can try and pick something out here. Is it a late shot kicking? No? Well,
sure if there was...
You can't pick anything up there.
Yeah, no.
Worth a look.
It's certainly something anyway.
Did you see the NRL final this morning?
I haven't, George. No, I've got it taped, so...
All right. Let me know what you think about the officiating.
Right.
Here come Oldham.
It's a good carry there from Ben. Nice hit and spin. Good leg drive. Emerson Whittle now carrying down that centre third, and like I said, they're just happy to roll down that centre third. Oldham get to this kick to this left corner again.
There again is that left boot. We're seeing a lot of it from David Hewitt.
I'd just like a little bit more hang time on his kick, George.
Well, he's going to have to change what he's doing, because he's not getting anything at all out of Lewis.
A couple of the kicks he's done, for me, doesn't have enough hang time, so the kick chase line can't get through and compete. I'd just like to see him have a bit more hang time on it, just to allow... Don't get me wrong, I can see what they're doing. I can see what the plan is, the kick plan is here, and the strategy around it. But I just feel he needs a bit more hang time on the kick, so allow the Oldham kick chase team to really kick sprint and compete for that ball, and they might get a better outcome.
Oh, it's nervy. I don't even support either of these two sides, and I'm jittery for them. So much at stake. Last tackle on halfway, Newcastle. It's a drill off the outside of the boot. That's not a good kick. That's taken on the full on this near side. Kieran Johnson will just set up play.
They're offside. The referee was calling them all. Gareth Hewitt, the referee, I could see him here shouting, boys, pull back another yard, don't go, and they set off. He had no alternative but to blow the penalty there. So another good opportunity now for Oldham in good field position. And
it's Cam Leeming to tap to himself and falls over into a three-man tackle. But he's a big fella, so he was only going to be falling one way. Oldham would dearly love another. Wilkinson. Working it through the hands, and Hawkyard, who's been a danger. So evasive, so elusive. Over on the far side.
He's hurt himself, Hawkyard.
Yes, he has. We'll keep an eye on that. Paul Crook just get the ball away. And then bang, Newcastle read that. So Wilkinson will line up with Crook on his shoulder again. He's going to scamper on his own this time, and then out the back door. Will this end up working for Oldham. They could have options if they can get the ball back to the right, but Wilkinson is grabbed around the ankles. It's the last tackle, and they're going to run it. And they're outside of the boot, and it's gone to ground.
Well, it was quite inventive, wasn't it? It was almost, it was sort of a hurried kick from Dave Hewitt. We're sitting on the replay. Last tackle coming down the short side. Hewitt's got some shape outside him. I thought he was thinking of the run shape. And then he just puts a little dink over, and Leeming catches and just kind of tips it on to Johnson.
What, there was a chance there.
There was a chance. I think if Johnson takes that, he has an opportunity to score. But they forced an error. Talapapa with his second mistake of the afternoon.
Exactly the same position.
Just trying to get up a little bit too quickly. That's one thing about Missy. Mate, he's such a competitor. He wins the ground a lot. He gets you a lot of quick play the balls, but because he's fighting that much to get up and play it, he does have a habit sometimes of losing possession. And unfortunately for Talapapa, that's the second time it's happened today for him. So it's a real war of attrition, this, isn't it? It's a real battle, and you look at Oldham and how they're attacking. You're not seeing them throwing a lot of shape at Newcastle. They're not asking a lot of questions, which they don't. They just kind of grind you down and hopefully end up powering over.
Just glanced, we're just commentating in between the two benches, just glanced to the Newcastle bench on our right, shake of the head from Simon Finnegan. Nothing he can do when players are coming with handling errors like that.
Good tackle there, Joel Edwards underneath again.
And the same player.
Jack Aldous, Jack Aldous, and Edwards was over the top.
Wilkinson. They're going to give the ball a bit of room. Hewitt.
Good tackle.
Big hit. Danny Bridge felt that.
They're defending their goal line well.
The bridge was almost broken.
Good defence.
That's a loose offload. It's picked up, and Newcastle, so far so good defensively.
Yeah, they have. They've defended the goal line really well.
With their own fans behind them. But Oldham can almost taste another one here. Whittle into the line. Wilkinson to Hewitt. Lovely little step from Bridge again. And that's
great defence, Newcastle Thunder. And that'll give them a lot of confidence there. They're standing firm. They've only conceded a try for kick. I think, if I'm being honest with you, George, just watching this game, I think if Oldham are going to break Newcastle down, for me, they haven't got quite the ball movement to play expansive and hit them on the edges. I think they're going to have to look at trying to hit on the other side of the ruck. So what I'm trying to say is, because Newcastle are filling the field defensively, they've got to get a little bit of change of angle and try and hit them on the other side of the ruck, ask a few questions, stop and bloke sort of tying in there, try and catch a few of the lazy forwards not tying in. I think that'll be the only way I can see at the moment for them to break them down at this stage.
Talapapa will be feeling a bit better about that carry after those couple of handling errors. Almost like he washed his hands in oil before he came out. The ball slipping around in those hands.
Great offload there.
QLT in a blind alley at the moment, but he just skips away. He doesn't run, he bounces, doesn't he? Last tackle. Darkening clouds overhead. Up in the air we go from Nick Newman. This is a real tester. Oh, he has.
Great catch.
He's up to it. He is up to it, Karen Johnson. Leeming. You can hear Simon Finnegan barking instructions, the Newcastle Thunder head coach. Asked him before the game, be honest, would you rather be playing in this? Oh yes, he would. He wants to be playing, he doesn't want to be in that coaching dugout. He wants to be out there. Yeah. Good player, wasn't he?
He was solid, mate. Did a job.
Witness at Bradford, loose forward, 6 at times, I think, he played as well. Bit of hooker. Had an eye for a try. Here come Oldham. Jack Spencer. Wilkinson to Dave Hewitt. That's a better hang time on that one, but
there was
the chase was nowhere near.
I don't think that left side's kick chasing hard enough for me. Leeming and Johnson, they just did.
There was more than enough time for them to get there. I
think they need to be kick sprinting there. They're just jogging through and they're almost sort of giving up on the play. They're just sort of saying that, yeah, we'll let him catch it, then we'll go and make the tackle. But rather than actually really kick sprinting and competing on it, putting him under some pressure, get him thinking.
Talapapa with another carry. Newcastle wanted a high shot. Referee, Mr. Hewitt, saw nothing wrong. They'll just continue to batter their way down the middle. Last tackle this. to QLT. Will he go with the outside of his right boot? Yep, knew that was coming. Look at the swirl on that as well. It's a real tester. Oh, what a chase and a big hit.
Yeah, well-timed tackle there from Kieran Gill, but great catch from Richie Hawkyard.
Well, that everything. Great chase, great take, great hit. That was lovely. The darkness intensifying in those clouds overhead. You could have the last laugh with your wellies and brolly here, Hendo.
Well.
Well, you can probably hear the...
Jack Aldous has really lifted some of the intensity defensively since he's come on. Great kick pressure there from Carlisle as well.
It was, and he
good defensive
pulled
set
out
there.
nicely enough so there wasn't a late shot as well. Here comes the rain, by the way.
Ended up being a decent kick in the end from Hewitt under pressure. Needed to be.
Just starting to drizzle a little bit. I reckon they'll probably get to half time before the downpour. (6-4), relatively early tries. Tulapapa for Newcastle in the corner, no conversion. And then Danny Langtree under the sticks. That was converted. And that's the difference at the moment, 6 points to 4. QLT for Newcastle, outside the boot. Along the deck. And picked up, good chase by the kicker.
Great work from Hawkyard. Look at Richie Hawkyard!
Oh, that could have been head to head, wow.
I'll tell you what, he's a brave soul, isn't he? 34 years of age. He's still got good pace, hasn't he? Oh, I think someone's hurt there. Okay.
Yeah, rain starting to come down now. Henderson has got the hood up alongside me.
Wilkinson out of dummy half now, trying to create some tempo around the ruck. Last tackle, Crook puts it up high to this, down the centre third.
Again, the chase is a little bit slow though, and Newcastle will diffuse that danger.
It's good defence there from Oldham. It's a good outcome again. Just happy to finish inside the 10 as Tulapapa carries strong away from his own line. Not shy of work, is that old fella. Reece Clark, ooh, it looked like it went across the head there. Gareth Hewitt lets it go. Thunder now through the centre through to Evan Simon. Just straight and hard, down the middle.
QLT hanging back, here he is. First receiver, and then he tacks a line. That was a real narrow ball. Last tackle. Thunder trailing by 2. Oh, that's come narrow. That's come very narrow. Tulapapa takes it. They're going to have to get another kick in here. It's off the...
He's done well.
That's not a bad outcome, that, is it, really?
No.
Hawkyard will take it.
Tyler Craig, I think it was.
It was Tyler Craig off the left boot, leaning backwards. Didn't expect to have the ball in his hands, kicking on the last.
Ooh, wow.
Now then, penalty.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Newcastle, just not what they needed. It's Harry
That's another look at that. Yeah, just around the neck.
Yeah.
So last chance perhaps of the half will go to the home tide. There's Cameron Leeming and Bridge waiting from dummy half. Here is Danny Bridge. Dave Hewitt just giving the ball, moving it on to Emerson Whittle. Wilkinson, Hewitt once more. Steps off his left, a great little step, half break. Oh, and then it's doubled up.
It's going to be Oldham.
Which was the first knock on?
Oh, sending off Oldham.
Yeah, I think the first one was Oldham, then there's a subsequent one from Newcastle.
Right.
But what a chance. Just opened up, didn't it? That
Dave Hewitt here, just taking them on, left foot step. He done this a couple of weeks ago against Doncaster, where he started the game just sort of playing early and away from the line, and then he just decides to take them on. He just sees that defender, the four-man's just lost his hips going out. He can beat him on his inside shoulder.
And there's the hook up. And that is half-time, and it could not be tighter with so much at stake. The Betfred League One Grand Final sees Oldham leading Newcastle by the slenderest of margins, a try apiece. One successful goal to one missed goal. It is 6 points to 4 to Oldham. Scott Naylor, who won everything during his playing career with Bradford Bulls, walks off deep in his thoughts. Simon Finnegan, slightly more of a spring in his step, even though his side trail. The two sides actually trudging off. Is that because they're putting so much work, or?
Yeah, I don't. It could be that sort of thing, but I agree. I'd like to see a little bit more energy from both teams.
You want to be bouncing down that tunnel.
Yeah, I just feel that even when I've looked at throughout that game there, I thought a lot of time players are carrying on their own. They haven't got that little bit extra push that they need. That's both teams, and some of the kick chase, not kick sprinting hard. And I think just some of the small effort errors. I think both coaches, for me, I think at the end of the day, both teams are in this contest. I think Newcastle might feel a little bit more happy because they've been playing into a really tough wind going up that hill. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a hill, but going the way they are into a tough wind. So I think the fact they're only 2 points behind, they've got the wind behind them second half. They'll be happy. They'll be buoyed with that. They'll feel they'll probably earn a bit more field position to put some pressure on that old line. Because if we reflect on that first half, Newcastle had very little field position attacking that on the line, and I think the wind's played a bit of a factor in that. Oldham, on the other hand, as we know, they've had some decent field position, but as we know with them, they're not the type of team that are going to play a lot of rugby league football and throw a lot at you. They keep it pretty simple, and I think Newcastle's goal line defence has been outstanding. They've really thwarted any Oldham attack. But there's certainly
interesting, Hender, that Liam McAvoy, who it was almost in the first 60 seconds or so, he suffered that ankle injury. We thought that was game over. He had his head in his hands. He's actually stayed out on the pitch. He's having a fitness test with the Newcastle physio by the look of it. He's still got his kit on and the yellow bib over the top, and he's been put through his paces, as you can see there, just hopping from left to right.
He does seem to be moving quite well, though.
If you're McAvoy, how honest are you here? Because you want to play second half.
Well, you do, but you don't want to let your team down either, because at the end of the day, it's such an important game. If you know you cannot, the key for him is, running in a straight line, he seems to be moving fine, but it's going to be that, can he push into the ground off that ankle, push in and change and move direction, because that's what he's going to be facing at times. He's got to be able to do that from a defensive point of view, and also when he's carried, he likes to have late feet at the line, so he needs to know that he's got the ability to push into the ground and push off, and if he can't do that, then he's not going to be any good out there on the field. It could be costly, but if he can get back on the field, then that's a massive boost for Newcastle, because at the start it was almost a case of, they're one man down already, and you're thinking that they're going to be playing, those middle unit boys are going to have to play a lot more minutes than expected. But
we'll keep our eye on that, because walking off, it doesn't look to me a player fully fit, but we will see. Let's have a look back at some of the highlights from the first half, streaming live on Our League on Betfred's Facebook page and on Twitch. So if you missed anything, you joined us late, here's what you missed. And it was Lewis Young to Tyler Papa for the first one.
It was indeed, and it was just a nice play there from Newcastle in terms of they had some nice shape, but I thought Oldham defensively had the numbers. They had this play covered for me, but it was the fact that David Hewitt, the number 7 you see there, just gets ahead of the defensive line, and that is what gave the space to Lewis Young to exploit. Great work from the fullback. He sees that Hewitt's got ahead of the line. So he gets on the outside of his 3 defender, gets on his outside, gets into the space there, and that created the opportunity to put Talapapa away. But then Oldham responded pretty much a couple of sets later. They forced an error on a couple of plays in the kickoff. They got some field position. Early kick from Hewitt, his kicking game is pretty good, and when it's on song, is a very, very good weapon for Oldham. It was an early kick. He decides here, he gets the ball to wide pass from Owen to Hewitt. He takes the ball to the line. It looks like he's going to play short. Then he just dribbles it through. A very, very neat kick.
It was a clever kick, wasn't it?
It was a clever kick.
That was intentional.
And great reaction from Danny Langtree, but a little bit fortuitous because it comes off, it ricochets off the post, which I think that's what he was aiming for. It ricochets off the post, and Lewis Young just can't quite get there. And Danny Langtree pounces, and that's what's given them the slender lead as they converted the try to make it 6 points to 4, George.
The only difference where those tries are scored in terms of how the conversion was possible. This was a chance as well, wasn't it?
It was indeed. This was a missed opportunity there from Oldham. It was a last play kick from Hewitt. He looked like he was going to run shape, then he just put a little dink over there. Leeming catches, pats it down to Kieran Johnson. I think if Johnson takes that, he's a real chance of finishing in that corner. He's a very athletic finisher, but unfortunately he couldn't take the knockdown. knocks on. But other than that, there's not been too many opportunities for either side that look like scoring. Dave Hewitt just before half-time taking the line on was a bit of a threat. But other than that, we've not seen a lot of line breaks. We've not seen a lot of... Both teams defensively, for me, are on top at the moment. I felt Oldham were probably generating a little bit more ruck speed going forward down the centre third than Newcastle were. But I just think from both teams' perspective, George, I think both coaches need to be talking about, we just need to up the ante with our effort areas. We just need a little bit more kick pressure on last play, because let's be honest, Hewitt's getting to kick the ball. He's getting all the time in the world to kick the ball. And on the flip side, you know, Newman, Kilty, they're getting all the time. So I think kick pressure needs to pick up. When they're doing their last play, kick sprint, kick chase harder. You know, I just think a little bit more push as well. I think if you look at both teams, when Newcastle were carrying, very one out. When Oldham were carrying, very one out. Just need a little bit more movement around the ball, and that hopefully might then be able to create a tip-on play. It might create a little bit more ruck speed to then create a line break or a bit of an offload play. I just think both teams are playing quite conservatively at the moment, albeit the conditions probably having a little bit of a say in that. But I just think we can just see a little bit more energy around those effort areas for me, for both teams.
Andrew Henderson sharing his insight, as he has on Our League throughout the season, on the Rugby Football League's Our League app, on Betfred's Facebook page and on Twitch this afternoon. I think you're right that both sides playing with so much at stake, almost along the lines of must not lose. Now the second half needs to come out, must win. That's got to be the difference. Yeah,
I know what you're saying there, George. I understand. I mean, but in all fairness to Oldham, that is their style of play, and that's always been their style of play. They are they're very limited in what they will throw at you with the ball. They like their outside backs coming in, carrying 3 or 4 plays, a lot of dummy half running. They do keep it super simple. Big fellas just going down the middle third, you know, and they just kick chase, and then just try and grind you down. That's their kind of mentality. They're not going to ask a lot of questions with the ball on your goal line either. We've seen that because Oldham have a fair few sets in good ball, but haven't really looked like they've had a lot of shape to really throw at you. I think the opportunity, because they're not playing a lot of football, I think Scott Naylor probably needs to talk to them about maybe setting up around about the middle of the field, getting the half, dropping someone under, and then hitting them across the other side of the ruck. I think you might get a bit of joy there with some of the Newcastle guys clocking off on the other side of the ruck, because the way Newcastle are defending, they're filling the field, which makes it really hard for when they're going out the back and trying to move the ball. They've got the numbers there to cover it. So I think that's something that Oldham could look at. Newcastle, as we know, enjoy to play a little bit more rugby. They'll ask a lot more questions when they're in that good ball attacking position. Unfortunately for them, they've not had that field position to really be in there to challenge Oldham yet. I think they'll get a bit more in the second half. I think you'll see a few more attacking plays from them, asking a few more questions. But again, for them, they've just got to make sure they get there first so they can put those plays on.
Right, have a breather, Hendo, for a couple of minutes, because I want a big second 40 from you as well, as we remind ourselves of how these two sides arrived in this Betfred League One Grand Final.
Crook, 59 goals for him so far this season. Takes his time, and it's in between those uprights, and we are 2 points to the good as far as Oldham Roughheads are concerned. He's going to be held about 5 metres out from that try line. 18 minutes gone, still 2-0 in favour of Oldham as the ball comes out to Crook, goes to Hewitt. Hewitt steps, this time he's digging into the line. That's better. Great footwork from him. Dave Hewitt celebrates with the crowd, celebrates with his teammates, and scores the first try of the game. Big challenge as well, right in front of the posts. 8 points to 0, Oldham in front. Doncaster on the attack though, bringing it left to Chase. No look pass. Howden works it out to Halliday. Halliday steps. Step back on the inside, past 2 players, but the third man got him. That was Wilkinson. Tally at dummy half, the kick comes in from Rangi Chase. Oh, it's been picked up by Baharrell taking it underneath the post.
Fantastic.
What a pickup. Referee Mr. Moore. Ball comes left. Stepping run comes in from Hewitt.
Great play.
On the inside. Are they going to score?
I think he's over.
He has scored.
And it's that man Hewitt again who's the architect of it.
Emerson Whittle, I think, is the man who's underneath all that. Only his 4th try of the season, but twice Hewitt has took the line on, and twice it's resulted in tries. Well, certainly piling the pressure on here at the moment to Oldham. Comes out to that danger man Hewitt. Hewitt plays it off, short man. Good decision. There.
Good decision.
Bridge is just short. Last tackle of this set. Hawkyard at dummy half. Plays it into the middle. Hewitt called for it. Puts a step on. Drills a kick through. It's been knocked on. It's been picked up. Oh, it's a try. Oldham Roughheads have scored right underneath the posts.
Been a step ahead of them today. They can probably learn some lessons, probably even from the opposition.
There's Wilkinson.
Oh, great break. Brennan Wilkinson.
Gets an offload back on the inside.
And it's a try.
It was a try from about 10 metres as well by Keswick. He slid in.
He just slid in there. Great offload from Wilson. Great right arm offload. But
in that time by McAvoy, setting a platform as Carlisle goes infield. Lookley out the back to Quentin Lally Tonga guy. Great hands from Young. Gill trying to finish off. Oh, he almost pushed his way through, and I think he did. Kieran Gill with some great footwork. Lookley almost busting the line. Held up just in front. He wasn't far away. The man of North Shield, just a duck and dive from Carlisle. Has he been held up, or has he squeezed that down? He squeezed it down. Classic dummy half play from Keele Carlisle. Connor Fitzsimmons, the former Castleford man, is there. He passes out the back. Lalutonga guy, Young straightens up, skipping back inside. He's wandered through and scored under the posts. Had to work hard to edge towards halfway. All about the kick now from Rangi Chase. I'm just wondering what the wind is doing down there, because in the first half there were a couple of kicks that took a little bit of an awkward bounce, and that was one of them there, and it's been picked up by Chase. That's a beautiful pass. They might be in here. Brilliant defence. Oh, in the end Nick Newman might just have rescued it here. That's gone down, hasn't it? That will be... No, he's pointing for the try. Doncaster have scored. Now Carlisle has another option. He's got Gill to his left. Instead he goes back in field. Simons now into Newman, who wants a little drop-off play. Clark jinks across field, pops it up towards Lalu Tonga guy. He's through one. Lalu Tonga guy, great pass, and Kieran Gill might just have put the gloss on it. Plenty of time left, but 22 points to 4.
I know all 4 from Thunder, but just as it was 2 weeks ago when
oh, that's beautiful. Clegg does get his try. Sorry to interrupt you there, Mick, but then some sensational play, and that by now has crowned it. Clegg gets his, I think it's his 9th in 8 games. Mick Hogan was saying a rolling clock. Out the back to Laulu Tonga guy. Maybe across to this left side. A big shift to Gill. Gill wants a hat-trick, and Gill will get the hat-trick. And Newcastle will steam on to Oldham. 34 points to 4. A kick to come. A hat-trick for Gill. Thunder are starting to crank up the pace, and next week will be a massive game in the race for promotion. Oldham against Thunder. Thunder have well and truly booked.
So that was how the two sides arrived at Oldham's Vestacare Stadium this afternoon. And as you can see, we're ready to go for the final 40, the denouement of the Betfred League One season. 40 minutes to decide where you're going to be playing your football next year. If it goes well, you're in the Championship.
Yep.
If it goes badly, you're here again in Betfred League One. The team's ready to go. Sun is trying its best to force its way out. I can see a little bit of blue sky. Hendo's persevering with the hood just because he brought his big coat. It's going to get warm.
Well, it might get. Hey, it might heat up here under this second half. Well, let's hope it does, because it's a tight final. It's there to be won for any team, and let's get back to the action, George.
Yeah, neither side has really taken the shackles off yet. I wonder if it's going to happen now, because this is where you go and win the biggest game of the season. The trophy is out. The players would have run past it and seen it, reminded themselves what's at stake here. It's not just the silverware, far from it. It's promotion to the Betfred Championship. It's George Riley and Andrew Henderson live on the Our League app from the Rugby Football League, streaming exclusive content live throughout the season from the Betfred Championship and League One and the Women's Super League, of course, and Academy Games. Did a brilliant under-16 international the other week up at Newcastle, Scotland, Ireland. Really enjoyed that. And we're live on Betfred's Facebook and Twitch this afternoon as Oldham go high on the last. It's Paul Crook, and it's well taken again. He's not missed anything, has he, Lewis Young? Rock solid under the high ball. Clegg trots in and gets us back underway. Winger to winger as Talapapa, the try scorer, takes the first drive. Clegg once more. Clegg right the way through, almost. Well, you could see he was thinking, he got the arm away, he was looking for the offload, but he was hauled back. Talapapa. It's drive from the wingers early on.
Yep. Keeping it simple.
Probably hear the wind or feel the wind on the microphone as well. QLT. It's Evan Simons. It's the last tackle, so what will Keele Carlisle do? We'll give it to QLT, and well, they need to get rid of this ball. They're going to run it. It's come off Well, 3-4. That's knocked on by Oldham.
It's going to be 6 to go, I reckon.
Has he seen it?
Ooh, I thought it was a harsh call. I thought it was 6 to go.
Oh, I saw a knock on from Oldham.
Well, I thought that myself, George, to be honest with you. I thought it was, but...
Well, there was definitely an Oldham knock on, unless he thought it was.
Tell you what, it was an adventurous play, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Adventurous play to run up on the last. They were 40 metres out. I didn't think the run shape was on. I didn't see much of an opportunity to exploit it back on the inside or on the outside. But QLT decided to do it, and Lewis Young almost created something out of nothing, and Edwards got the neat little grubber through. And like we said, I thought there may have been an Oldham knock on there, but it wasn't deemed to be so. So it was turnover, and Oldham will carry out of their own backfield now.
Crowd kind of hushed in nervous expectancy. Which way is this one going to go?
So I think as well, George, I think the way Oldham are playing, certainly coming out of their own backfield, they're very, very simple going down that middle third, dummy half. I think Newcastle can afford to really squeeze their line up a little bit more and almost be shoulder to shoulder at A, B and C there, so they can really commit more numbers into those tackles and control the ruck speed, because I think too often not we're seeing only 2 men in tackles from Newcastle. Is it generating a little bit of ruck speed there for Oldham? Good contact there. Spencer and Langtree.
Oh, you can hear the hits out there. Newcastle breach halfway. QLT hanging back on this left-hand side. It is the last tackle, so I'm sure they'll come this way. Here he is. Outside the right boot. Yep, there we go. That's his favourite kick. And it's just going to hang and spin and tap forward by Thunder. So Oldham will get it back.
No advantage there. Obviously the ball coming off Kieran Gill going forward. So Declan Kay was obviously tackled a further 10 metres away from where the ball was originally knocked on. Finds his front, and again Marker's not set. That's the thing for me. I think Thunder need to have a little bit more focus on getting numbers in. There's a couple of blokes just running past tackles. I think they can get in there, try and help control this ruck speed. A good tackle there from Harry Aldous. Good line speed from him.
Hawkyard. He doesn't want to ball. No one wants to be on the losing team. That goes without saying. He certainly doesn't.
Easy going, mate.
Yeah. Oh, another big hit on halfway. Last tackle though, so they're going to have to shift it. And this time they give it a big thump from Paul Crook. Again, slow chase, easy take for Lewis Young. 35 minutes to find a winner, to find a team to be promoted to the Betfred Championship. 1 try apiece. The only difference in the scoreline at 6-4, the touchline conversion missed, whereas Oldham's was right in front of the sticks for 6 rather than 4.
You're almost thinking the way this game's going, it's that sort of tightly contested and neither team really willing to chance their arm. It's going to take a magic play off an individual, isn't it? Like a QLT or a David Hewitt or a Richie Hawkyard or a Lewis. Someone is just going to have to come up with a little fancy play that's going to unlock this defence, because both teams' defences are on top. And I think Kieran Johnson's knocked on there.
Yeah, bit of a mess over on the far side.
Big opportunity now for Newcastle Thunder.
This is a big chance in this game with 35 to go, nothing in it.
Well, as coaches, we always say things like these sort of words of patience, and I think you could argue that both teams have been patient in this game and they've gone through their process and they've got to end of their sets, and then you do that, and then it's going to hopefully you'll get an opportunity like this now for Newcastle, who have been very patient in terms of their approach. Now this could be the chance for them to get their noses in front.
We're live on the Hour League app from the Rugby Football League on the Betfred Facebook page and on Twitch this afternoon. You can get in touch. If you're on Twitch, send us a message. I've only just managed to load it up, that's why I'm saying that, but I can see your messages now, so keep them coming and I'll read them out. Can Newcastle force a way over and get themselves back ahead? They scored first. Talapapa, Carlisle, QLT waiting. Will he go on his own? No, it's a big gap. Perfectly timed ball, and Joel Edwards through to nudge Newcastle in front.
Yeah, nice little short side attacking play there. QLT decided to take the big 4. It was 4v4. And what he does ever so well when he's running out for this, he's able to skip from A to B. And you just see him when we see the Betfred replay, he skips from that A defender, gets on his outside, and that gets that B defender thinking, what do? Do I need to come in on the ball player? And so he then therefore loses his man, Joel Edwards, watching QLT now, and he just does enough
timed it
to
perfectly.
Get McComb interested. And McComb then thinks, do I have to go in on QLT or do I stay out with Edwards? He goes in. Obviously, Crook didn't close Edwards down quick enough either and react quick enough to it. So, but that's just great play from QLT, really. He's the man, he's made that try through his footwork and by able to go straight on a defender or 4-man, and he skips to 3 or the 2-man, gets him interested. That creates effectively a 3v2. And then he obviously hits Edwards there, who's running a great line on the outside shoulder of McComb, inside shoulder of Crook. And that's a great try there for Newcastle.
Matt 9 UK on Twitch asks, where are they playing this? We're live in Oldham, Matt, this afternoon, the Vestacare Stadium. Hender had to pay someone £2 to park in his drive.
I did, mate, I did. Lovely fella.
Reece Clark missed his first from the touchline. This is slightly easier, but still difficult. He's taking it 10 in, the big fella. Oh, he's just dinked it. Oh, it catches the wind. That looked perfect. He thought he nailed it.
I thought it looked like it was going over for all money. I thought he struck it well. It was going over, but the wind just at the last effort there just swung it. But there's another look at the try. QLT skipping overs there, getting to McComb, and he just. Is that McComb?
Let's have another look at the kick. Ruccio says unlucky that on Twitch. He set it up perfectly, the big fella.
Yeah, he did. I thought he struck it well. It looked like it
right
was going
down the middle,
over.
and then look at
just
it, catch the wind. Wow. That's how gusty it is here, up in the hills of Oldham. So Newcastle Thunder are in pole position, only by 2, but at the moment they are closer to Oldham, or than Oldham, to the Betfred Championship. Pischetti says the curve on that kick, wow, yeah, it was a boomerang effort, wasn't it? Anthony Lamb, Oldham are still in this. Come on, Ruffians. Of course they are. 8 points to 6, absolutely nothing. This is the last. So QLT outside the boot, anyone? Oh, he's going to get caught here. Gets the offload away. Oh, they made a right mess of this. They could get away with it. Oh, the referee's pulled it back. He said knock on. That's a big play because Thunder had broken free.
But this is
isn't having any of that on this near side.
Well, this is where Newcastle have to be better. That's twice now when they've scored points. They failed to get to the end of set on the next set after scoring points. Now, it's so critical, certainly in these big games. When you've scored a try or you've scored points, you need to get through that set and get to a good kick. And QLT there, he's been pressured a couple of times on last play there.
Too casual on the last, maybe?
Sorry, mate?
Too casual, was he?
Potentially. I don't think he was set up for his kick well enough. He wasn't deep enough and he wasn't ready for it. And ends up coming out with a poor outcome. So now look at this. It's a great opportunity for Oldham now. It's Hawkyard down this left side.
Leaving. Is this going to force Oldham to take the shackles off? They will look to set something up. Jack Spencer down the middle. Matty Wilkinson, extended spell. It's worked left to right, half the way through. Grounded, last tackle. They're going to go on the power play. Bad option, I think.
Yeah,
last tackle.
That wasn't on that short side. It's not the worst outcome. They finish in a corner. They can really squeeze up defensively now and try and get some line speed now, front load energy. But I still think for Oldham, they've got to look at a play back on the inside. An inside block play or just dropping someone off and picking up someone on the other side of the ruck. I think Newcastle look vulnerable for me in that sort of area. I don't think they're going to go around Newcastle today, George. Well, the Newcastle bench are getting very, very tetchy.
Yeah, they're really involved. The players, Simon Finnegan and Dennis Batts.
Kick.
What a kick that is. Wow. What a guy, it's going all the way. Almost absolute perfection. Had a very, very long chat with Dennis Betts, probably while you were trying to find someone's drive to parking.
Yeah.
I was caught Dennis coming in. We had a chat on the pitch, must have been for about 15 minutes, about this game, about the state of rugby league, about Toronto, about what's going to happen next year.
Right.
Tell you what, that would make an interesting podcast. Some very, very interesting views.
Wow. Shame you didn't have your dictaphone with you, mate.
He loves his rugby league, does Dennis?
It's a good carry from Hawkyard again, George. It's been industrious for his team.
Very quick play of the ball as well, and Wilkinson darting into the line.
So you can start feeling the energy now, can't you?
Well, they've had to pick it up. They've been forced to.
It's heating up now, isn't it?
Spencer.
Still plenty of time on the clock.
Loads of time, but yeah. It's like they've already notched it up a gear. Hawkyard's got Cameron Leeming on his outside. Last tackle. Will they set something up or come all the way over with the kick to this near touchline? Yeah, that's what they do. Yep. Off the left boot. It's come off a Newcastle face. And can they get it on?
Yes, he's over
town.
He's over.
And Oldham knocked themselves back ahead. It came off a Newcastle face, I think. Oldham scooped up the loose ball. And it's a try for the home side. And Zach McComb has Oldham ahead.
He does. Have a look here on the Betfred replay. Nice crossfield kick there from David Hewitt. I spoke about his kicking game, how pivotal it will be today for Oldham.
Off the head.
It was off the head of Clegg, and McComb just coming around the back to pick up the scraps. And you know what? It was the right kick play as well from Hewitt. I thought that Clegg and Kieran Gill, they were tucked in field quite a bit there. So, you know, it really isolated Clegg there. You know, and what Newcastle needed, they needed men around the ball there. If Clegg was going to be up there competing for it, Gill needed to sort of get around the back. They needed some more numbers around the ball there to Newcastle. He was really isolated on his own there, was Alex Clegg. Obviously, that's what happens when you put a kick up and you've got kick chase competing for it. There's an opportunity. There's a 50-50, and I thought Newcastle, they could have maybe got some more men around the ball there. Maybe if Gill had sort of got around the corner a bit earlier, you know, QLT could have filled in there too, and they may have just had a little bit more opportunity to pick up the scraps as it come off Clegg's head. But obviously they didn't, and Oldham had more numbers around that football. That was clear to see, and McComb picks up the bouncing ball that was left on the ground and scores in the corner. It was a great finish too, by the way, to beat the cover defence.
Well, Crook has 1 from 1, and that at the moment is the only difference. This is tough. Right on this near touchline, he struck it beautifully.
Oh, wow.
What a kick!
What a kick indeed.
And that could be a big, big kick, and a huge 2 points, because it's now 12-8 to Oldham with 25 to play.
We'll have another look at this try here. David Hewitt, great weight on the kick, pinpoint isolating Alex Clegg. Kieran Johnson competes for it, and the ball comes off Clegg's head, and McComb and Crook were both around there to pick up the scraps. McComb gets it, and he does an ever so good job of finishing in this corner. And Gill tried to cover it, and QLT, but just didn't have enough. But again, for me, George, that has come off the back. You think about it. Newcastle scored first in the first half, came up with a mistake from Carl Doyle, and then Talapapa backed it up with a mistake, and that gave Oldham the field position to score. That time there, they didn't get to their last play after scoring a try. So for me, it's that discipline after scoring points has really hurt Newcastle.
Yeah, it's point response or score response really. It's been Newcastle's undoing both times they've scored. They're readying a replacement or two on this near touchline. Bit of fizz back into Oldham now, having regained the lead. This is the last, they're right in the middle of the pitch. Hawkyard tries to get involved, is waved away. And Crook goes high. Spiralling kick for Clegg to claim. Oh, it's game on now. 25 minutes of the season to go. 4 points separating two sides vying for one place in the Betfred Championship. Next score, you sense already, is going to be vital. QLT, you sense he's probably got to say. Now then, can Clegg find a bit of room? He's got 4 Ruffians jerseys around him. Play the ball is from Gill. They're going to go all the way back to Nick Newman.
Well, they've let the ball bounce, George.
Will it be gobbled up? It's tapped backwards. This could be a score. There's a pass for Newcastle. And it's Tyler Papa with his second, the bounce of the ball. Newcastle level with a kick to come under their sticks. Thunder are going to nudge ahead again.
Wow. Well, it's come off a last play kick. Plenty of hang time on it. But Oldham allow it to bounce. And we said on this 4-cheat pitch, it's so unpredictable, the bounce of the ball. You cannot let them bounce. They can go anywhere. We'll see it again. It bounces, and it's a great tap back from Tyler Craig. And Tyler Papa collects, steps off the right.
And the somersault.
Oh, loving it. Still loves it, doesn't he, Missy? Still loves it. Still loves playing his rugby. And that's an important score, but again, it was Johnson and Hawkyard. I mean, the kick was great. It got in between the winger and fullback, and neither one was confident enough to go and attack the ball. They allow it to bounce, and the bounce proves fortuitous for Newcastle Thunder. And Tyler Craig did a great job to compete, tap it back on the inside, and Tyler Papa was there. And at the end of the day, when you look at that picture, there was a lot more purple shirts in the frame, wasn't there, than there were Oldham shirts. And you make your own luck at the end of the day. They wanted to get to that ball more than the opposition, and that's what created the try.
This is turning into quite a grand final. Reece Clark has missed two. One from the right touchline, one from the left touchline. Third time lucky from bang in front to give Newcastle the lead in front of the Thunder fans.
Wow. Well, we've got a big final quarter coming up now, George, haven't we?
Well, it was a slow-burning first 40, but it's set us up perfectly for this. What a climax of the season. Into the final quarter with only 2 points in it. The tap back, Tyler Papa said, I'll have a bit of that. Over we go, and a somersault for you too.
Well, the one thing that Newcastle needed to focus on this set is getting to the end of set. You know, the last two occasions when they've scored points, they've either come up with an error, or they didn't get a kick away in last play. They get a penalty. Offside.
Well, that will help, because you made the point about every time they've scored, they've come up with errors, and, well, they've been gifted something this time.
Yep. Well, I think this is a real opportunity now for Newcastle.
Let's have a look at this again.
It's not a great touch finder for
has that gone forward? Was that a tap back or a tap forward? I'd like to have another look at that.
It's a try, mate. Let's not go into that. Newcastle score.
Well, Hendo's given it, so it's a try.
It's a try, mate.
That's the end of that discussion then.
Yep. Carry there, Evan Simon found his front well. He's met by a wall of red and white jerseys.
Well, there is a reason that you can't use videos for forward passes, because you can't really tell, can you, on the camera angle. You've got to kind of be on the pitch.
Fine, real
yeah,
time,
we both call it fine.
There's Kilty again trying to skip over to three-man.
Newcastle, wow, another score now. Blimey, they will start to believe that Thunder could be in the championship.
They just need a good end of their set here.
And that sunshine is bright now. It's going to be in the faces of the players. Oldham defending their line. The Thunder fans lined up, a few hundred of them behind the sticks, willing Newcastle to score another one here. Lewis Young into the line, spins away, will dab through to himself. Is it going to be six more? It wasn't played out, I don't think. That should be play on.
They need to be better at their end of set there for me. They're making it up. And that's that little bit of discipline we talk about there, you know. They had a real opportunity there. They could have either finished in a corner and really got front-loaded energy defensively. Just got a little bit more discipline how they finished their set.
Well, the Newcastle Thunder fans.
Oh, good shot there from Cardamine to
Afternoon.
Full frontal there on Phil Joy.
Endo's found his voice as well. Oh, everyone's getting into this.
Great defence here from Newcastle. It's a big D set from them, forcing now Oldham to kick inside their own 40.
Last tackle as well. It's going to be one bounce, two bounce, and a little football tap from Clegg. As we pass the hour mark into the final 20 minutes of the season, the final 20 minutes of this Betfred League One Grand Final, and it could not be tighter. Well, it could be 12-all. It's 12-14. And here come Newcastle.
They've got a bit of ascendancy now, Newcastle, haven't they?
Yes, bring in the Thunder step. We've got bright sunshine and a little bit of drizzle, which is a bit bizarre up in the hills in Oldham. And Newcastle, it's like they've had a shot of adrenaline. Every single player out there flying into the line. Clegg is calling for it on this left wing. It's the last tackle, so will the kick come his way from QLT. No, it won't, because they're going over to the right-hand side. They're not even going to QLT. They're going to dab it up to Newman. It's a good take this time.
Yeah, it's a great tackle as well from Tyler Craig. Just got to hold their nerve in Newcastle. Be squeaky clean. Don't give away too many cheap penalties, and that's good defence again. Better tackle control there from Newcastle.
A reminder that the Our League Man of the Match is a vote from you guys at home today via the Our League app. So if you're streaming our coverage through Betfred Facebook or on Twitch.
Nice play from Oldham now to Johnson.
They've got options inside.
Oh!
He's taken the wrong one, and Newcastle have diffused the danger.
He needs to play it.
Big moment in the grand final. It's the last tackle. How big an opportunity have Oldham let slip away? They still have the ball.
They still have a chance.
They still have a try.
Oh my God!
All the way
Fantastic
through.
try.
And Jimmy Beckett has rescued Oldham there. He's under the post, and the Ruffians lead once more.
Wow, fantastic power play on the last play from Oldham. But it all started from deep in their own half when they moved the point of attack. They went down that last left side. And Kieran Johnson makes the line break, but then his last tackle, moving the point of attack, Hewitt to Crook. And it's Beckett who gets on the outside of Fitzsimmons. He had to be working harder there, Connor Fitzsimmons. He wasn't working hard enough, and Beckett sees that. He beats him on with late feet on the outside. Just beats his opposite man, does him all up. It's great ball movement, great skill from 9 to 7, 7 to 6. And then you just see him there, it's man on man. And Connor Fitzsimmons just got to come up with a tackle play there. He doesn't. And Beckett just shows great feet and turn of speed to get on his outside and beat his man. But again, it all came from that line break. They played down that short side, down the left side there. It was Danny Bridge that fed the ball on to Kieran Johnson, and Johnson went away. And you thought he may have made the wrong option by not finding Hawkyard back on the inside. He takes the tackle, but great presence of mind from Oldham to shift that point of attack. You know, when the Newcastle line was trying to scramble back and get onside. And great individual try from Beckett there. He just beats his opposite number, Connor Fitzsimmons. All ends up there. A great score to now put Oldham with a slender lead and a kick to come.
Oh, what a grand final this has turned into.
Oh,
so tight, so tetchy first half, and it's exploded into life.
It has. You said it would second half.
After half time. 3 from 3, bang in front. Oldham 18, Newcastle 14. They're trading tries. To you, to me, to you, to me.
Wow.
And it's with Oldham right now.
And I still think there's more twists and turns in this game, and I still can't call it, George. You know, both teams. Wow. When you think Newcastle just starting to get on top, and then Oldham just come back out of nowhere, out of nothing, and it's just to and fro, isn't it?
Well, I was poised just as Oldham made that break to remind our viewers at home about the man of the match vote. So we'll do that in a couple of minutes. Give you time to think, Hendo. It's our viewers at home on Our League this afternoon going to select man of the match. There'll be 4 options for you, selected by the man to my right, Mr. Andrew Henderson. So we'll see through another couple of sets, and then we'll let you know the 4 options, and then it's down to you to decide the man of the match of this Betfred League Grand Final. Another huge shot.
Khan Mangador, he went to try and put a shot on Phil Jordan. I think he's knocked himself out in the process, mate.
Oh wow, well he's up.
He's got jelly legs there. He's trying to get back inside. He's a tough kid, is Khan Mangador.
Oh yes.
He's playing on.
Well, that's like a boxer getting up, trying to kid the referee is all right.
I don't think he's right. The physio's coming in.
That reminds me of the first time Bruno got knocked out by Tyson, and he tried to get up and his legs went.
Look, that's the right corner. The Oldham players and fans are kicking off there, but the reality is Khan Mangador, he was wobbling all over the play before, and now somebody else, I think it's Joel Edwards, that's took a knock as well, but the physio, I think, had the right there to stop that. I think, and the doctor's on now looking at Khan.
Yeah, we'll just take a
Doyle Manga now.
A moment.
He's not right in. The doctor knows that. Yeah, it's the right call.
You need to get your thinking hat on, Hendo, for your 4 man of the match options. I'll be coming to you in a couple of minutes for that. We don't even know the winner yet. It's been
it's hard, isn't it? God,
it's been a real contest. But it'll be your chance at home to select your man of the match through the Our League app. 4 nominations selected by Mr. Henderson. He's doing that as we watch this set of 6. Oldham go high. Crook gets the right footer away. It's into the sunshine and it's going to bounce. Where is it going to bounce? It's come back. What's the referee seen here? He's giving the ball to...
Penalty! No, he's given a penalty to Newcastle inside St Oldham. We're inside the 10.
Well, they were celebrating getting the ball back there. And Newcastle get the ball themselves. Penalty, they're going to hoof into touch. This could be coming to you, Hendo. Just a little bit beyond. So, who wins this one then? 13 minutes to secure promotion to the Betfred Championship. Oldham 18, Newcastle 14. It's been to and fro all the way through, and it's back to Newcastle to try and have their say. Connor Fitzsimmons.
Nice play.
Young's through. He needs support. He has support. The keeper coming. QLT. Surely for the Thunder in the corner. Oh, interception! Intercepted.
Oh, that's a massive play. Massive play from Declan Kay.
Well, tries can win you games. Try savers can win you championships and promotions. That looked a try for all money.
Unbelievable.
I cannot believe they've not scored. Oh, what a big moment. That was a huge defensive play. Perhaps he could have shown the dummy, gone on his own, who knows. We'll have another look at that in a second. Oldham either way have the ball back. That was a massive reprieve for the Ruffians. Oldham go high. Where's he going to bounce? It's bounced behind everyone. QLT, oh, he's made a mess of that. Oh, he's made a right mess of that. And Oldham have picked it up and they're offside. Another penalty, Newcastle. Let's have a look at this opportunity gone begging. That was the break, just needed support, then came the support. And this was it, the last pass off. Newcastle up to halfway. We have your 4, oh no, Newcastle put the ball down. They need to get their heads back on here quickly because Oldham fancy they could see this away now. So they gallop down the far side. The 4 nominations, 2 from Oldham. Richie Hawkyard and Phil Joy, Newcastle, Lewis Young and Joel Edwards. Your 4 nominations, they'll be up in a vote on the Our League app. Richie Hawkyard and Phil Joy from Oldham, Lewis Young and Joel Edwards from Newcastle. Andrew Henderson's 4 selections for your Our League man of the match. We don't know who's going to win this yet. At the moment, it looks like Oldham going up. But we have 10 minutes to define that. Offload. They're keeping the ball alive, Oldham. They sense another try could really seal it, and they're half through. It was Gareth Owen sensing. There he goes.
Great ball.
Crook just to dab one over the top. That's not a good
right
kick.
Got to react quicker. He's gone the wrong side. Talapapa there. He should have come to this left side. There was space to exploit. Crook was ambling back into position.
Nervy moments.
Clegg now carrying down. It's a 7 tackle set, remember. Obviously the kick from Crook was fielded in the in goal by Talapapa. So good opportunity for Newcastle. They don't have to score. That's a nice short pass from Luckley. On to Evan Simon, makes a half break.
They've not given this one up yet. Far from it. QLT.
Edwards looking to get the flick pass out to Gill. He does. Play on.
Done really well there. Really well, Thunder. QLT skipping away left to right, then gives the ball some air. Is there a bit of room for Newcastle on the far side? Bouncing out of a couple. Have we got another twist, another turn? 18-14 That's nothing in rugby league.
They don't have to panic here, Newcastle. Just need to get a good, if they get a repeat set, a good end to set here. Kilty stepping off the right.
Almost.
Good offload.
Great offload. Can they get the ball down to the winger in the corner? They can, but he's run out of room.
Short side, Carlisle.
He's come back. It's a chance in the corner. He's in
great
touch.
tackle. Great defence, Oldham. And Newcastle appealing, saying the ball was knocked into touch. Appealing that it's their ball. And it's Oldham head and feet. Kill Carlisle appealing to the touch judge. He felt something going on. We'll have a look at the replay here. Carlisle tries to sneak down the short side. I wasn't sure it was the right option. There was plenty of jerseys in attendance there for Oldham. I'm not sure what Carlisle was seeing. And obviously great cover defence there from Oldham as they bundle Reece Clark into touch. They don't need to panic, Newcastle. There's still time. There's probably about 4 or 5 sets each left in this grand final. Promotion to the championship beckons for one of these sides.
Decided in the next, we've had a couple of stoppages, haven't we? So probably looking at 10 minutes.
Roughly, won't we?
Yeah, reminder to our viewers. That's a running clock we have operating in the top left of your screen. So we have had a couple of stoppages. We don't have the official time clock available at the moment. But it's still anyone's. It's one solitary score separating Oldham and Newcastle.
Oh, Scott Law, that's a good carry from him.
Well, Oldham, having taken the shackles off, can actually, if they want to, revert to type and play tight rugby league. Crook on the last. Body's bouncing everywhere. He's gone really high into the sky. Talapapa, 2 tries to him. He's claimed it.
Well, they're in some decent field position here. They're starting their set on their own 40, Newcastle, so they're going to be in good ball territory in a couple of plays. So they're in some decent field position.
A reminder, if Newcastle do score a score, and it's find a score, I beg your pardon, it's only 4. We could be looking at golden point. Had that in the Thatto Heath West Hull game on our league yesterday. Hull's running out of score when I think Thatto were holding back, expecting a drop goal. Newcastle.
Oh, good tackle there, Gareth Owen. One-on-one ball steal.
Brilliant play.
Great work from Gareth Owen. That's a big play. And you just get a sense now, Oldham are just growing in this game, aren't they? The ascendancy's going. Good tackle. That's a good tackle there from Harry Eldis. No, there's nothing wrong with that. He was square at marker.
Yeah,
good tackle.
Oldham fans near as well.
Yeah, they were, but there was fair play. But that's good leg drive there from McComb. He's had a solid game as well as that McComb. Hawkyard again. I don't know how many carries he's done. Look at him, late feet, getting in between bodies, finds his front, George, again.
Last tackle, do they go
high?
No, they're going to drill it to touch.
Okay.
A little bit early for me, that.
Yeah, I agree. I would have thought, put it up, compete. Because one more score for you, that will probably win the game for you, you know. I think they're relying on that now. Still time in there for Newcastle.
Well, Scott Naylor before the game, speaking to him, he said these games are 80% mental in terms of who wins it.
Oh, look, absolutely. And you know yourself, when you're playing in these sort of games, you know you're going to be going to a place that you've not been all season in terms of fatigue, intensity, speed. Like you've just got to have that mental toughness to get through that.
Some of the RFL officials bringing out the presentation tables. That's going to be quite off-putting for the players in the far side.
Lewis Young again. He's been threatening all afternoon as Young, the fullback.
Yeah, the 2 fullbacks have been good.
Yeah, I agree.
Hence their selections. QLT was desperate to avoid being on the losing side here. Newcastle have come so far. They trail, but they know one try could win promotion. These are the margins now into the last 5 minutes. One try could move you up a division next year. Carlisle. High kick from Newman.
Great catch from Leeming.
Easy take from Leeming in the end.
And great carry from Leeming. Struggling to put him down, and just get a sense a few Newcastle players now just starting to drop off tackles, and You know, they're just allowing a little bit too much leg drive coming through collision as well. I think definitely, I know the scoreline says it, but Oldham certainly on top at the moment.
Well, the hush around the ground. There are nerves on both sides. Newcastle are thinking it's slipping away. Oldham are thinking, just hang on, can we do it? Can we find another score?
Good play.
Go up with a bang.
Great pass from Hawkyard there, finding Phil Joy, sorry.
He's had a big game as well, Phil Joy. They're going to drill into touch again. I think they're going to do that for the next 5 minutes.
They're going to try and close the game out, aren't they? Rather than try and go for that extra score to seal it. It's a dangerous game though. You know, one thing Newcastle have got is they've got pace in their team. They have got people that can go the length of the field. You know, Lewis Young can beat a man, Kilty can beat a man. You know, Kieran Gill can break the line. Clegg's got pace. So it's a dangerous game, I think, Ryan. Might be more inclined to keep competing and contesting, but then again, he's saying that you've got to time your kick chase right, because if you allow one of these wingers to catch it on the full, go the length, then it's one of them ones. So I can see their thought process trying to close the game out, but you just get a sense in this game that Newcastle may get another say in the game. That's my sort of gut feeling.
Well, how are the nerves at home? 5 minutes to decide the season and the destiny of next season. If Newcastle can find a try, they could well be playing in the Betfred Championship. As it is, Oldham win the grand final and secure promotion. We have a stoppage in play, which only adds to the drama. These are the big moments. These are the moments as a player that you live for. And Newcastle are exactly where they don't want to be at the moment.
Well, one thing Oldham need to be here is squeaky clean. There's Lewis Young.
Oh,
what
one-on-one!
Oh, wow.
Huge play in this grand final.
Huge play from Langtree. And I thought Lewis Young done ever so well. He beat his man, and Langtree had to cover from the inside. Comes up with a magic play.
Can Oldham finish it off in style? McComb, who's already got a try in this grand final. Down the middle. Every second with ball in hand is a second. Newcastle can do nothing about it. But it could even go up in style as Law goes towards the line. Very quick play of the ball. Crook. QLT goes low.
It's good defence from Newcastle again on their goal line.
Little grubber kick through. No one's chased that. There's nobody there.
Owen didn't need that. Lewis Young now on the turn. That's the thing, I told you, I think Newcastle will get a say. That wasn't the play that was needed there from Gareth Owen. They should have just even run it and finished in a corner and then just made Newcastle go 99 metres. That would have been a better option than trying to dribble it through those short in goals, as you said. It's always going to be difficult with the short in goals to get your grubber kicks on. That's why you've got to put it up or you've got to run it.
Can Newcastle find a roll of the dice here and come up with something? They're keeping the ball. That's come forward. That's a poor play from Kieran Gill.
He didn't need to do that. Trying to look for the magic play. He didn't need that. They had a 7 tackle set. He probably should have just took his medicine, rode the tackle.
Is it slipping away from Newcastle Thunder?
Yeah, that was a big moment there for Newcastle. You know, I thought it was a poor decision from Gaz Owen to put the grubber kick in. That gave Newcastle the opportunity with a 7 tackle set. Lewis Young had the presence of mind to get back quickly and get the set rolling, and it was only tackle 2. And Kieran Gill tries to force it, tries to make it happen. He should have just rode the tackle, and they still had plenty of tackles up their sleeve in good field position. And I think Oldham now just really try and slow this clock down.
Well, unless Newcastle can find something, then it's the top 2 from Betfred League One. Whitehaven already up, watching on.
Phil Joy.
Will they be joined by Oldham? It looks so. He's had a great game, hasn't he?
Just been busy, hasn't he, as Hawkyard. Very industrious.
Quick play of the ball. Gareth Owen. Oh, an intercept! Oh, Clegg's eyes lit up.
I've got no idea why they're trying to do that now with a minute to go.
Clegg's eyes lit up. Could he have done the distance? No, he was swarmed on. But Newcastle have the ball back. closing moments of this one.
Hanging on, aren't they? Both. Oh, sort of great pass from QL2, goes behind Talapapa.
He needs to stay in touch. He isn't. And Oldham celebrate. Is that the moment that seals their promotion to the Betfred Championship? Talapapa stays down.
I'll tell you what, some moments of madness in these last few minutes. Some moments of madness. I mean, Oldham went for the killer blow down that short side. Langtree saw an opportunity. He thought he was going to put his wingman in the corner. But Alex Clegg had other ideas. He positioned himself well in between centre and winger, takes the intercept. And then they moved the point of attack, and it was a poor pass from QL2 that went behind Talapapa. If the ball had been in front, he may have had an opportunity, but allowed the Oldham defenders to get across. And that's what the importance is. The quality of skill is so important, George, is what I'm trying to say. You've got to get them passes out in front. They've got to be off the chest. You know, that pass goes behind Talapapa, means he can sort of stop his run, allows then the Oldham cover to get across and make the tackle and bundle him in the touch. If it's out in front and he's coming onto it at pace, he may have made a line break there and it could have been a different story. But great scramble from Oldham though, mate.
Look at the body language of the Newcastle players. I think they know it's slip sliding away.
I think we must be into the final set, surely. Won't be far off.
Oldham are pretty much there.
Up your jumper stuff here now from Oldham.
And that's what they do better than anyone. Gareth Owen. Won't be anything fancy here.
See Scott Naylor going over to that fourth official of the last few minutes asking how long to go. He's shaking his head.
He wanted to go out on a high, didn't he?
Yes. He did.
The crowd have gone eerily silent in anticipation of the moment ahead. Hawkyard. Richie Hawkyard's been terrific in this grand final. Last tackle into touch, do we? I think so. Oldham are winding down the clock and winding their merry way.
I just wish we knew how long there was to go. Well, I think if this has got to be the last set, I think Newcastle are going to have to play hot here. They're going to have to play hot.
Time is off. Remember, Newcastle scored first, Oldham scored back. Newcastle scored again, Oldham scored again. Newcastle scored again, Oldham scored again.
You're going to have to watch.
That's the way it's got all matched. The only difference in the scoreline is the kicking boot.
They've got to get numbers around the corner here, Oldham. They're short defensively on this left.
They've got to find something here, Newcastle.
Well, they need to start playing hot. They need to get it on. Well, we don't know how long's left on the clock, do we? But I'd assume we're into the final minute here.
Well, the players must know, and that's what matters.
So they need to start.
They're just springing the ball from left to right. They need to find a gap, though, perhaps a chip over the top.
Yeah, they've got to try. They've got to play hot. They need to get the offload game going here. They have to look at little chip kicks.
10 seconds, I'm hearing from some of the staff on this touchline. So this is it. This is it. There's the hooter. Can collect himself away. It's kicked.
That's
deflected off Oldham into touch, and the ruffians celebrate. Well, the referee has called it off. Oldham celebrate. The handshakes come in. Newcastle sink to their knees. Not the Thunder's day in Oldham, but it's the ruffians heading to the Betfred Championship, and boy do they deserve it. A brilliant Betfred League One Grand Final, and it's Oldham's day.
Wow, what a game. What a game. Fantastic there for Oldham. It's their day, and they deserved it in the end. They deserved it in the end. I thought they just showed that bit more composure in that second half, I felt. I think Newcastle will probably rue just some of the discipline with the ball at times. I just felt, certainly after they scored points on a couple of occasions, they didn't get through to that set. And they're key moments in the game, you know. But I tell you what, it was a cracking game. I thought the way the game grew as well, like both teams were very conservative in their approach first half, and it was almost like you said, didn't want to lose the game. And then second half, I think the game really come to life, you know, and it was going tit for tat, score for score. But Oldham, I think, just showed enough resolve, enough character, enough discipline, and enough patience to close that, composure, I guess, to close that one out. But it's a good learning curve for Newcastle. They've not been in this playoff campaign since they got promoted at the end of 2008. So it's new territory for a lot of these guys, and they'll learn from this experience, and I think they'll be better equipped for League One next season, that's for sure.
Dennis Betts, Simon Finnegan and the rest of the Newcastle Thunder coaching staff just having a little, quite sombre looking meeting on this near touchline. And then Simon Finnegan, the coach, says, right, I'm going to go and shake hands with some of these players. And immediately walks to Richie Hawkyard and shakes his hand. And I think the guy on the PA system is enjoying the moment too.
Yeah, he might have had one or two bevies, maybe, I don't know. And rightly so. His team's just got promoted to the championship, and like you said, it's fitting for Scott Nail. I think we need to take some time to talk about Scott and his contribution to this club, and he's been with them for 7 or 8 years now, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster for them. They've been up, they've been down, they've been up, they've been down, and they're back up again. So, you know, he's done a decent job with limited finance and resource and support, and you know, obviously he felt that his time's come at the end now, so he's made that decision to step down and give somebody else now an opportunity to try and grow it and carry it on.
Well, the players shaking hands. Newcastle Thunder going to salute their 300 fans.
Yeah, good turnout from the Newcastle.
Who made their way over.
Support,
and the RFL officials setting up the trophy presentation. Let's have a look back on some of the tries from this Betfred League One Grand Final, because it really sprung into life after half-time. It was Newcastle who struck first, Hendo, through Talapapa early on in what was at times quite a stale first half. Never really got going.
Well, we're just having a look back at the first half as well. This is the first try that was scored in the game. It was a nice ball movement there from Newcastle, coming from left to right, and Lewis Young gets in behind David Hewitt, the space that he creates by getting ahead of the line defensively. That gave Lewis Young the space to run into. Hewitt just coming out of the system, and he was able to defeat Talapapa in the corner, but then Oldham hit back with this neat little kick from Hewitt. We spoke about Hewitt, the importance of his kicking game and how much it would be in this game, and that was an example of it there. Nice kick in behind the line, ricochets off the post, a little bit fortuitous, and obviously Danny Langtree gets over. I mean, he reacts quick, and that was the great thing about it. Hewitt was looking for a pass play. It was an early kick in the set. It was four tackle kick play. He obviously was going to pass, but then elected to kick and put the ball in behind a Danny Langtree because he understands his teammate. He reacts to it, chases hard, and able to get the touchdown under the post there. That leveled the scores, and then obviously Crook converted to make it 6 points to 4, and that was the half-time score, George.
And then the game
second half
sprung into life, didn't it?
It did in the second half here. We just see here down the short side, QT skips from A to B, puts Edwards on the outside of Zach McComb. It was the work done from QLT that created that try. Edwards runs a great line and scores, and then Newcastle had that ascendancy. We'll just see it again from this angle. You watch QLT, see he just skips from A to B, so he skips from Langtree, gets to McComb, and it gets to McComb in 2 minds, and obviously Crook doesn't close Edwards, and then this missed kick from Reece Clark, it looked like it was going over for all money, but that was just a signal of a sign of the windy conditions.
It was the missed kicks that cost Newcastle really in terms of the scoreline.
And then again, David Hewitt here with his kicking game. We spoke about it, how important it was. It was a great line break from Oldham. I think Kieran Johnson made the initial line break down the left flank. Last tackle play, Hewitt, he sees that Clegg's probably tucked in a little bit. They thought they could isolate him, and they did that. Clegg doesn't manage to catch it, comes off his head, and Zach McComb, he's there to pick up the scraps and finish in the corner. And unfortunately for Newcastle, they didn't have enough numbers around the ball, and it was a great kick from the sideline from Crook.
Wonderful.
Wasn't it?
Wonderful, wonderful. But Newcastle weren't done. They were not done.
No, they weren't.
I want to try this one.
Yeah, it was. It was another kick, high kick, hanging kick. Obviously, Hawkyard and Kieran Johnson, neither one committed to attack the ball. Let the ball bounce, and it was Tyler Craig who was first to it, taps it back onside, but to Talapapa, and he scores under the post. But again, it just highlighted the effort and the kick chase from Newcastle. You know, they had more purple jerseys in the frame here. Just watch them flooding through this centre third, and you know, Kieran Johnson just stands, Hawkyard's deep. So it gave a real opportunity there for Newcastle to create
Newcastle 14-12 ahead, and perhaps just starting to believe that it could be their day, it could be their season. But there was one final moment to win it for Oldham, and I thought they'd blown it up that left side.
Yeah, I know, but this was it. Great line break here from Johnson down that left side. Danny Bridge was the man who fed it to him. And you thought he should have found Hawkyard on the inside, but then you look at this point of attack movement here. Good skill. Hewitt to Crook to Beckett, and Beckett just beats Connor Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons just got to be working harder there. And Beckett, great individual try. It was man on man defensively. I thought they did well, Newcastle, to scramble back and get their line sort of set. but Fitzsimmons just got to do better there. Simple as that. And Beckett, showed great, presence of mind to take his man on, beat him on the outside, and scored a fantastic
and it's
try.
that try that sends Oldham into the Betfred Championship. They are the Betfred League One Grand Final winners, and their moment is now. It's Golden Oldham heading to the Betfred Championship, and that celebration will go on all night. Terrific all season and worthy winners today. Oldham win the Betfred League One Grand Final. They will play in the Betfred Championship, and they will get to enjoy moments that every player lives for. Newcastle sporting from the Newcastle Thunderhen, who have stayed out to watch this. This must be so hard for an opposition player. They've stayed out. Simon Finnegan standing in front of the Thunder players, and you can smell the champagne from here. It's been sprayed everywhere. The Newcastle players and staff, that's great to see, are out applauding. Dennis Betts leading the applause. That's great to see from Newcastle Thunder. Oldham now take the trophy round the pitch to show their fans. And you can't say, Andrew Henderson, they don't deserve this.
No, they deserved it, mate. I thought they've been great all season. I thought they really timed their run at the back end really, really well. I thought they were in really good form coming into the playoff campaign. I felt the way they played throughout these playoffs, there was a real focus and determination within that group of players to get back to the championship. The way they played, they were very methodical, very disciplined in how they played with their style of play, and ultimately that's got them across the line. So full credit and kudos goes to head coach Scott Naylor, and also to that group of players here. They've done a fantastic job together. They've achieved something special that they'll be remembered for. They now go into the championship, and now the task for them is to re-establish themselves and stay in the championship and build from there. But fantastic day for the Oldham club. Great support turned out as well from the local community here at Vestacare Stadium to support their team. It's a great turnout there, and that are just the players they're going to thank Chairman Chris Hamilton for his obviously support of the team again. He's been a stalwart of the club, hasn't he? But again, great learning curve this for Newcastle. And I don't think, and I know I said it in our league playoffs shows this year, that I don't think it's a bad thing for Newcastle. I think they'll learn from this experience. I think this will actually give them a lot of hunger and that for next season, and motivation for next season. I think as well now the fact that they've got a bit more funds coming into that team. Simon Finnegan will get a full pre-season with his squad, may be able to bring in a couple of in the close season as well to strengthen the squad, and I think 2020 will be the year of Newcastle Thunder.
Well, that's as far as we go. We'll leave the Oldham players making memories with their families and their fans and the club. It's been great to see. Commiserations to Newcastle Thunder. You will have your day, I am sure about that. And that's as far as we go in our coverage on our league from the Rugby Football League of the Betfred Championship and Betfred League One. Andrew Henderson, it's been a pleasure to call all the big games with you this season. You're an absolute idiot, but I enjoy your company.
Thanks, George. I've loved every minute of it, mate. Great to have you back on the airwaves as well, my friend.
It's
awesome,
been great.
Mate. It's been brilliant. Loved it.
It's been great to have you. We've got this to come as well. England Knights, Jamaica. So you won't want to miss that from the Emeralds Headingley Stadium. And we have the Women's Super League Grand Final as well if you want to go. £5 adults, or £1 for under 16s. That's at the Totally Wicked Stadium if you fancy going along. 7:30 on Friday. Hender's got to go and try and remember now which drive nearby he has parked his car in.
Oh, he's a lovely gentleman, mate. He charged me £2 to park in his driveway. Good bloke, you know.
We will set off into the Oldham night sky and leave the players and staff to enjoy these much deserved celebrations. It's Oldham Ruffians who have been promoted from League One into the Betfred Championship. From me, George Riley, and from Andrew Henderson, we'll see you very soon.